so that it's done. So you might see, normally you can notice that it's being recorded, just so you know it is being recorded. So don't swear at me or start yelling and screaming, because everybody's gonna see it. That's never happened before, by the way. So I like to keep my sense of humor. All right, oops, I forgot to change to my puppy notes. Let me change from my puppy notes, I should say. I am. Thank you for reminding me. All right, Laura is here. She'll be sitting and joining us in a second. Now, also during this, we'll at least once or twice, probably, maybe more depending on how much time we have and what we end up needing to do, have one of the other trainers, one of my girls, do a demonstration for you with their dog. So it's not going to be complicated. You'll just have to focus in on her little square and you'll be able to see whoever's doing it. It'll be Karen or Lara. They both have their dogs here today. So whoever's feeling like they want to or is available will do the demonstration of whatever. Because I am going to send you, I want to say send you home with homework, but when I say goodbye, you will have some homework to do. Up to you to do it or not. I'm hoping that we'll see each other in person within the next 2 weeks, hopefully not much longer than that. I'm hoping that. I know that they've allowed us to do stuff during the day. Obviously with the curfew on, it really makes a big mess of evening classes because even if we're allowed to give classes, we can't have you past curfew. So I'm hoping that within the next couple of weeks, the curfew is removed, but in any case, let's hope we can do some kind of classes soon. All right, so we're gonna start, and if by, well into it, we haven't answered if you have a question and I haven't answered it, or you need to ask a question, feel free. All right, so the first thing I do wanna mention, this is a companion rookie webinar, and so it's for older puppies or dogs that have had no training, or dogs that are older and have had previous training, whatever. It's anything older than a very young puppy, which is, we normally have them in puppy play school. So we're going to first address something that we don't normally address in general classes or behavior, which is the COVID situation in regards to dogs. Excuse me, it's lunch sitting in my throat. So there's a few things that have happened with dogs that can happen, have happened, and that we might be able to prevent if we know what we're doing. Some things are just things that are happening that really aren't a big deal, but we should be aware that sometimes these are reactions to this new situation or the situation that COVID brings on, which is new. So the main one, or the one that's the most, in my opinion, the most serious and the most concerning is separation anxiety. Because many people don't realize that they can avoid that if we take some precautionary measures. The other thing is that you may not see the result of this situation until after COVID, after things are back to normal, because we're not going out. Some of us are going out, and if you're going out, and I mean going out so the house is empty, not one of you goes out while somebody else is home. If somebody is always home 90% or more of the time, your dogs are social creatures, very social creatures, and they rely on the pack for a lot of their energy and how they go through the day and how they live. If we don't give them that, if we have to go to work, if we have to go out, they get used to that. Most of them fairly easily. They don't have to like it, but they go, oh, well, mom and dad are gone, whoever, I'll have to just stay here, mind my own business until they come back, and then we can do stuff or be a pack again. However, the problem is when we don't leave, We don't notice the problem because it's not the results of the fact that they become dependent on us being there is only evident when we do leave. And that might not have happened until whenever you get your life back to normal, which includes going out to dinner, going places, doing groceries together, going out for walks other than with your dog. And that's the other thing. We might go out, but if we're going for a walk, we have a dog, we'll take the dog. So they never get to be in the house by themselves. And if they don't, that's where the problem happens. If you have this situation at home, and many of you do, I know, and even if you're only going out a few times and your dog is okay, but when this is over, the likelihood is that you will be out more often, then start going out more often. And normally I would say, try to go out every day for at least an hour. And for some people, it's like, really? Yeah, take your dog for his walk, go out. If you're gonna go to work, that's not gonna be an hour, that's gonna be long. If you're gonna go out for dinner, that's more than an hour. If you're gonna go do groceries, that might be an hour. If you go visit a friend or your parent at an old age home or in their home, you're gonna be gone for longer periods of time. If you haven't been able to do that now, at some point, life will return to whatever your normal is to a certain degree, maybe slowly, but at some point it will. And if you surprise your dog, which is what it will be, with that, you're likely to have some blowback, some argument, if you will, from your dog going, hey, wait a second, you're always here and now you're not. So my suggestion is get the heck out of Dodge for a little while, as often as you can. Minimum, I would say, is 4 times a week. Okay, questions? The other thing about COVID, so there's the going out part. There's the coming in part. You've not, for the most part of you, have had guests coming over, having dinner, having lunch, having coffee, just coming in and saying hi. Many of you may not have had workers coming in to do stuff. Maybe you had it once. Maybe there was a little bit of repairs done, or maybe you had some major renos. It's not the same as a social person coming in, sitting, having dinner with you. And it's easy enough to control your dog if they are, if they're not comfortable with a workman or something. You put them in a crate, you bring them in another room, you keep them busy, put them on a leash, keep them with you. That's not the end of the world. But you want to make sure that when you have guests over, they're not like either, many things can happen, but the 2 major ones are, oh my God, there's people, I'm so happy, I can't possibly calm down, I have to jump on them, nip their clothes, go absolutely out of control, because it's never happened. Or it hasn't happened in a long time, even if they were good for a while. Micheline is just losing her mind now thinking, oh my God, that's my dog. That's my dog. And he's 6 years old. And when somebody comes to drop something off, he loses his you-know-what. He's like, oh my God, I have company. He's very social and he loses it. So hand in his collar and I keep him down to the ground. And yes, you can be happy to see somebody. I don't want to turn that off, but I don't want you mauling them, honey. And he literally, and some dogs do this, they go from being really happy to screaming and yelling, ah, and they have this like mild, fit. And you're like, oh my God, that's a social dog losing himself, right? The other thing they can do, the other common choice is the opposite of that, which sometimes happens more in guarding breeds or herding breeds. It's the control they don't have. And now they have to control, they've been able to control their pack or they know it's normal. Now this person's come in and they're either scared or they're getting protective. So either way, it looks sort of similar. They'll start barking and howling. They'll either hide behind you or charge forward, depending if they're fight instinct kicks in or their flight instinct kicks in. So you want to make sure that your dog is always, did I say that again? Always on a leash and collar, so that you're not yelling and screaming, God forbid, grab fur, trying to pull him back, knock it off, sit, stay. All of that is actually making his energy worse and higher. Always remember that whatever your dog is doing, if it's not appropriate, you need to be doing the opposite. So if he's high, which is usually the case when they're misbehaving, the energy is too high, they can't control themselves. To learn self-control, you must demonstrate and you must show them what you want. If you join in the high level, knock it off, sit, stay, you're keeping the energy high. If you have control, you're going to see a dog under somewhat control, but what he is a ticking time bomb, or what I like to call a hand grenade. He's sitting there in the stay position, but his energy, you can see it if you pay attention. He's almost shaking with the just say, I can go, just move, just tell me I'm okay. And poof, you have a hand grenade just went off. What you were trying to teach him is to calm down, right? So that he can control himself. So telling him to stay will not necessarily work to calm him down. It will actually just compress that energy and just keep it waiting there until it can explode. Best thing to do is always, if he's got a leash, bring him back to you. If he's moving towards the door or the person, put your hand in the collar. Take a deep breath. I always say that it actually helps to calm you, which is what you want to send down to the dog. Keep your voice low. Knock it off. You're fine. Calm down. Lock that elbow if you have to, if he's the jumping kind or if he's lunging forward, just keep him there. And yes, it can take some force. Once they start to calm down, that's when you can say, good. Wait again some more. What you want is really a whoosh. Teach the dog to go from 100 miles an hour to 10. And at the beginning, it'll take him 15, 20 seconds. It might take 30 to 45 seconds. Maybe, that's very long, but it might, especially if you're not used to controlling yourself. Then you'll see the more you do it, he's gonna learn within a week, depending on how often you get to do this, very quickly, he's gonna learn to, as soon as you go, that'll do, he's gonna start calming down on his own. He's gonna learn to do that, because as soon as he's calm enough, you wait another 5 seconds, you're gonna let go of the collar. And he'll either be able to go say hi to the person, or he'll go continue doing what he's doing, or the pizza guy's gone, so no harm, no foul. He's not gonna be able to go say hi. I don't let my dog say hi. I send my dog to his place when the doorbell rings. But right now, with an untrained dog, that's really hard to do. So just remember, these situations are really hard to train when you don't have the opportunity to train. So maybe you're getting food delivered. Maybe Amazon's coming by often. So you're getting the doorbell. Think about using those times and those opportunities to do a little bit of training. Doesn't take long, but you can train them not to react as badly or to react to your voice so that they don't continue to think it's their job to keep getting the people away or to get excited or to greet whoever. And the only way they're gonna learn that is if you take control. Pick up the leash, that'll tell them not your job, mine. You don't get to decide who's allowed in here, who gets to ring the doorbell, it's me. And you're going to be more of a leader, more of a parent if you don't lose your cool, right? So if you're a little bit calmer and doing it as a leader, right? So always important to remember your most important tool in dog training is patience and calm. Those are really super important. Dogs don't learn well when there's too much excitement and craziness and frustration, especially on our part. Just like humans, they do much better when the trainer and the teacher is calm, right? So keep that in mind. It's hard, I know. I'm the first one to admit, Frustration builds up no matter what, especially with younger dogs who are untrained and, you know, yesterday they did it well, but today they don't. That's just the process of learning. It goes well, and then it goes back down a little bit, and then it goes well, and then it goes back down a little bit, and then it goes well. So it's not just, oh, he gets better and better and better and better. Most of us don't learn that way. We learn by mistakes. We make boo-boos. How our trainer, teacher, parent handles those will determine how quickly we learn. Do you lose your cool and freak the dog out every time he does something wrong? Or do you go, no, that wasn't correct. Let's try it this way. The more you do that, the more the dog will go, okay, you're not somebody to freak out about or be scared of. You're actually going to show me what you like. And then you might reward me, or at the very least, stop correcting me, which means stop holding my collar. All right. So those are a couple of the issues with COVID. Do we have any questions? No. Okay. So we're going to move on. I did mention your most important tools in dog training, which most of you probably already know. When you react well with a dog, when you react calmly, you're going to get more response, especially if you were in puppy class, you already know a lot of this stuff. Your most important physical tool that you're going to find is very helpful. And if you've been in puppy class, you know this already, and you may still be using it. If you're smart, you're probably still using it, is keeping a leash and collar on the dog at all times when they're not in their crate or they're not in an enclosure of some kind, overnight, whatever. But during the day, when they're not confined, they should always have a leash and collar on. And before you ask me if they chew their leash, you can get a metal leash, a chain leash, which is available in almost any pet supply store and even some dollar stores, so that they can't break it off. The idea of a leash is, as I mentioned before, if you heard me explaining what to do, if your dog is going crazy when the doorbell rings or when the few people come over that are coming over, it's a very good management tool, handling tool, training tool, so that you don't have to grab fur, to yell and scream, to chase if he's got your glasses, your underwear, your remote control, pick an object. Your dog will take whatever he can get a hold of if it means he's going to get attention from you, especially if you're going to play the all-important catch me if you can game. That's a lot of fun for most dogs. Even if you're upset, they think that's fun. They don't care if you're upset, yelling and screaming and chasing them. They're like, yay, I got what I wanted. I'm having him chase me. That's what they want. That's what they play outside. If you watch dogs play together, they're always trying to grab a toy and saying, hey, you want it? No, you can't have it. Hey, you want it? No, you can't have it. That's their best game ever. So why would they? And they're really good and fast at it. If they have something you want, pick up the leash, reel them in, and take it from them. If you don't know how to do that because they don't release it, let me know. I will tell you it's not complicated. So it's important that they know you have control of what they do, because they need to know you're going to keep them safe and make them feel safe all the time. And the beginning of that trust that you're going to do that begins with, I control every movement you make. If you do something you shouldn't, don't worry. I will put you out of your misery and I'll fix that for you. I won't let you do something stupid to hurt yourself or to be inappropriate. My job is to raise you properly, to be safe and to be a well-mannered member of the family. And so we just want to send that to them in a positive way. And yeah, you're not going to go, oh, good boy, and reel them in. You're going to go, reel them in, hand in the collar, either stop them from doing what they're doing, digging in the garbage, chewing your coffee table, jumping on somebody, pick a bad behavior, and you're going to stop them, wait till they calm down, wait another 5 seconds or so, make sure everything's calm, not just they pretend they're calm, because their energy inside is still up, even though they're pretending they're stopped. So you want to really make sure that they're calm, and then you can let go. That's the end of the correction. Don't give them a cookie. for having stopped doing something inappropriate. They'll just keep going back and doing that so you can grab them and give them another cookie. It's not the way to train. You give them cookies when you say sit and they do it. When you say come and they do it. When you give them the cue and they follow through and do that, they're learning tricks, if you will. Yes, you're going to reward that. You reward stopping inappropriate behavior by stopping the correction. We're not hurting them. We're just putting our hand in the collar, which is control. I'll give you over your control if you stop misbehaving and calm down. That's not the same as a reward. That's the end of the correction, which for them is good enough. Questions? Still none? Good. Oh, they're all sitting there waiting to happen. I know. Linda, is that you putting your hand up? You're going to have to.
Yes, it
perfect.
is. If I understand you correctly, you're saying we should have a leash on the dog inside the house from when he wakes up till he goes to bed?
That's right.
How long would the leash be? Because I mean, I can see him tripping over it and
Yep. And it happens. Yes, they do trip over it and it gets wrapped around chairs and what have you. But if they're not trained, they shouldn't be that far away from you. You don't want them off and running into another room or another floor of the house. They should stay within your area so you can make sure they're not doing anything inappropriate. The best way to train a dog is to avoid the inappropriate behavior. If they get to a certain age and they haven't done that for a month or two, chances are they're not going to go back to it. They found other stuff to do that entertains them. How long should the leash be? Usually I say 6 feet. It's the best way to make sure it's not wrapped around them and you can step on it if they're trying to run away from you. And what it teaches is, if mom says, let's say I'm training my dog, I will look at him if he's doing something inappropriate, whether it's somewhere he shouldn't be, chewing something he shouldn't be doing, barking, whatever. And I'll say, Storm, knock it off. And his reaction will be, stop, go get a toy and go play or come and see me. Okay. Why? Because when he was a puppy, he had a leash and collar on and I would go up and go, stop, with that same voice or knock it off. It doesn't matter what you say. As long as the tone is, I'm not pleased. It's not a, please stop, honey. That's not a correction. It's a tone that says, negative. It's not a yell. You don't have to yell at them. You just have to make the tone sound that you're not happy. A dog, when he's not happy, either growls or barks low. And it's all over the animal kingdom, even us. When we're happy, we tend to talk like this. But when we're not, we tend to talk like this. So that's your tone when you're correcting. I would take the leash, pull him towards me, knock it off, or stop. Wait till he calms down so he absorbs the correction. That's all that was. Big correction, right? No, but it got him to stop because I made him stop and I stopped the behavior. And if he's excited, it'll calm him down. I got my hand in his collar. Then I will go, good, let's go find a toy. Not giving him a cookie, big difference. Cookie will motivate to do whatever you did before to get the cookie. Toy's not the same, but I didn't give him the toy. I am not his butler. I want him to learn to go find the toy when I correct. So I will go, hey, stop that. Good, calm down. When I see calm, 5 to 10 seconds, let's go get a toy. And I will take him, we're on the floor, there's gotta be a couple of them around you somewhere, go find a toy. Show it to him. This you're allowed to have. And you'll see over the course of a week, you'll be walking up to him and instead of running away, he's gonna go, she's gonna get to me anyway, I might as well not bother running away. And I'm not coming to hurt you, I'm just coming to save your butt from being an idiot, right? So he's gonna learn to accept you approaching and go, oh shoot, drop what he's got in his mouth or stop doing what he's doing. And that's what my dog does. He looks at me when I go, hey, Storm, that'll do. Go, okay, let me go get something else to do. So he'll either go play with the toy or he'll bring me one, or he'll come and say, hi, Mom, are you still happy with me? Whatever, he's not upset with me. He's just like, it's almost like a thank you. I'm not doing something I'm not supposed to. I'll go find something else to do. So the leash will prevent you from chasing, from yelling. It's just, you have a tool. Get up and go take care of it. And the dog very quickly will learn not to chase away or run away from you, but that you're just coming to fix things, if you will. Yes, Linda?
Yes, my dog has gone through 3 leashes already. If I put one on in the house.
Chain. Remember what I just said? Go out and buy a chain leash.
Okay.
That supply stores have them. Many dollar stores have them. They're not expensive. Even if you choose it, he can't rip it.
He's biting me right now.
If he had a leash on, all you had to do is take the leash and pull him away from you. But he doesn't, right? So you've got hand in the collar or put him in a crate and out of your way. Otherwise, he's having fun biting you. That's what dogs do to other dogs to get them to play. And right now you're not paying attention to him. You're probably trying to pet him to keep him quiet. So you're actually rewarding the nonsense he's doing. So you have to make sure that you've got a leash on him. So if he's doing something, even on your hands inappropriate, you can just take the leash and go, hey, off, or stop it.
Okay.
And if you can put your hand in the collar and keep him from biting. If he turns around and bites you, put 2 hands on both sides of his jaw, muzzle, if you will, and he won't be able to bite. I can have one of the girls show you that after when we do our video or our little demo. There's always ways to control without being overbearing and yelling and all of that, because that doesn't work. Especially strong-minded dogs, the ones that are like going at you and going at you and going at you. And the more you say, stop it, the worse they get, which is many puppies, by the way, or young adults or older puppies. You want to make sure that you have the technique that keeps you calm and gets them to stop what they're doing. And so you can reward them by just going, good. That's what I expected. Off you go. Or let's go find a toy.
Sorry, he's 8 months old and he's never had a leash on in the house. Is that too old now to start?
No.
No?
I put them on rescues when I get them at 2, 3, 4 years old.
Okay.
It turns into jewelry in no time. It's just like they're wearing it and they don't even realize. And if it wraps around a chair, don't worry about it. Just pull it out. Okay. If they're not perfect in the house, you want control without having to lose your temper or sit there and go, what do I do now? He's got this or he's doing that. Always first line of defense, go pick up that leash, man.
Okay.
And reel him in if you need to, or just get him away from what he's doing. Go find a toy.
Liz.
Soon you won't have to do the calm thing. You'd just be able to send him away. Who wanted to talk to me? Could you put your hand up?
That was Jen Thompson. I don't know how this thing works. And so
go ahead.
Astrid was that key example of the dog who goes a little bit nuts. I'm going to put the leash on her because you told me to do the 2 hands in the collar, which works really nicely. She pretends like she's calm, and then the instant I let her go, she kind of goes a little bit nuts. So if I get her by the collar, what's the best way once I release her? So no, there's never been a cookie, but like, I know she's just trying to play most of the time. What would you suggest? Like, do I bring her to the toys? Because then I feel like I'm just rewarding.
No. Okay, give me a second. So I'm gonna have one of the girls, okay, Lara, I think we need to demonstrate hand in the collar and the slow release. Which one wants to do it? I don't care. Okay. So whose cameras are going to be? It's yours. Okay. So you're going to scroll or slide your screens until you see the square for Lara Tabakian. That is the trainer who you're going to watch. Now, if you're on your phone or a tablet, you can double tap and it should put her in the center of your screen. If you're not, if you're on a computer or a laptop, you can go to that square upper right and click on the right and it'll say pin. You can pin that and it'll put her in the center screen. No matter who's talking, you'll still be able to see her square. However, the person you're actually watching training is Karen with Vegas, because it's Lara's phone, but it's Karen who's training. You saw Vegas jump up there. Is everybody okay with that? Can you all see Lara? Or Lara,
yeah.
Karen? through Laura's square. Okay, everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? Okay, how annoying is that? Okay, so what I want you to look at now is that even though I'm talking, you should be able to see Karen. That's Vegas. He's a boxer, if you don't know. So what we're going to do now is pretend that Vegas has misbehaved or is nipping and biting. Not only needs to be hand in the collar, calm down, but needs two hands and needs to be to the point where they're past what they look like is calm. Because I'm not going to say they trick you into thinking they're calm. That's not what's happening. What's happening is she's got enough calm to stop moving. And you think she's calm, but all it is that she's managed to come down enough so that she's not nipping and biting because you're holding her collar. We want to go past that so that we're sure that she's actually calmed down even more than that. So that's what Karen's going to demonstrate. So if she takes the leash and brings her forward, let's say her hands are in the collar. You see she's got, oh, he's stepping all over the back leash there and there you go. So you can go ahead and talk if you want, Karen. I'm not sure. I'm assuming they'll hear you.
Yeah, you put it on first.
Yeah.
So
You have to.
we're getting the feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so two hands, a collar on hands on each side of his face. I like to put the collar up sort of behind his ears because that's where there's some strength happening there.
Hang on. We're getting feedback. Hang on.
Lower your volume.
I just did.
Okay.
We're good now?
Yeah.
I can't lower my, I had to turn it off. It was feeding back.
Okay, so collar up behind his ears, pulling it away from his throat. This is not about choking them. This is about control. And I can now hold on to him. I have control of his head. I can use the sides of my hand if I need to for a little bit of extra control against the side of his face. And I'm just going to wait for him to chill. He's already chill, but pretend he isn't. Now he's not. What I like to do before I let go is as soon as I feel the dog has relaxed, then I relax my arms without actually letting go of the collar. So I'm responding, he relaxes, good, I'll relax too. Then I wait to make sure, I like to count to at least 5 in my head to make sure that they are calm. And then I take one hand out. Some of them get smart. You take that hand out, the one hand out, and they go, ha ha, I can go back to being crazy again. Take one hand out, make sure they're still calm, then release the other one. And I'm going to tell him he's a good boy because I corrected him for doing nothing.
All right. Am I back on yet? Let me just get you out. I've got you as, I just want to turn back to gallery view. All right. So did everybody understand that? The extra step at the end that will actually get the dog, you to know, sorry. It's not necessarily calming the dog more. If you just held his collar, he probably would eventually calm, but it's the feel my energy. You feel me? So what you're doing is you're responding to he stopped moving and a little calmer, you relax your hands. He still doesn't start getting, you take out the other hand. He's still not going crazy. You might wait another 4 or 5 seconds. You may take off the other hand. Normally at that point, you will get a little bit of reprieve. If they're crazy puppies, in 10, 15 seconds, they may become crazy again. You restart the procedure. If it goes more than twice, I put them in a crate for 5 minutes. They're just completely over the top. Always remember, if this happens all the time or at the same time every day that they go zoomies or crazy, you should probably think about playing with them just before that time during the day, either outside or get some of their yayas out and teach them how to settle, which I can tell you about later. Questions?
Yeah, Karen.
Yes.
So my problem with Suki is that she does this when we're on a walk. So she'll start grabbing the leash and thrashing it and pulling it and jumping and nipping and growling. And then I stop, I put my hands in her collar and I wait. And, you normally we get a little bit, but we, like you said, we could get she might be good for another 5 minutes. If we go for a 30-minute walk, I've done this more than once in our walk. And it's been going on for months. I can't seem to, even like, even if the kids were to take her out in the front just to do a quick pee, they come back in, they're like, Mommy, she's crazy. Like, she's jumping and biting and nipping and thrashing with the leash, that they're like, ah, what do we do?
Okay, so this is very common.
Yeah.
Two things. One is a walk is not exercise,
No.
right? So the walk is, but leaving the house is very stimulating. Yay, I'm an
Yeah.
animal, I'm outside. It smells like squirrels and flowers and snow and, oh my God, I have to catch the snowflakes and I have to read the newspaper.
Yeah.
It's very stimulating.
Okay.
So if your dog tends to want to jump on you and nip and bite, that's when it's going to happen. One of the things you have to remember, again, walks aren't exercise. Exercise the dog before the walk. So take her outside and play in the yard, or play a retrieve game from the top of your stairs, throw the ball downstairs, have her come back up.
Okay.
3-4 minutes, 5 minutes tops. She's going to have gotten tired. Don't take her out right away. Wait 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Calm her down. So the energy, all of that stimulation is going whoosh,
Okay.
and then take her for a walk. You're going to have a dog that's more under control and more able to control herself, more likely to respond to those corrections you're giving her for longer periods of time. The second thing you can do to control in the event this happens, because you want control, and yes, it's working, but it's obviously not having the longer effect that you need for the rest of the walk. What I normally try to do is I will step on the leash. I will take the leash, step on it so the dog can't jump, can't do anything. And I will not be happy about it. Like, it's going to be knock it off.
Okay.
And I want that knock it off to translate, or whatever word, stop, no, whatever, and that is negative, that's going to translate to, as she's starting to get riled up, later I'm going to go, don't even think about it. So that she's about to jump on me, she goes, oh, I better not, I'm going to get a hand correction. So over time, she's going to learn that. But more importantly, if you have to do this more than twice,
Yeah.
I turn around and go home, and I make it very clear. Too bad, we're going home. After you've done that for 2 or 3 days, she's going to go, shoot. Because it's like sending her to her crate. It's a timeout. She likes to be outside. If she didn't, she wouldn't be getting excited like that, unless she's upset being outside, which is a different situation, not that. So I literally tell my dog, you lost it. And I walk back to the house on a very short leash, and I take them in and I go, too bad, you're in the house, leave me alone. And if necessary, I go in the crate. They go in the crate for 5 minutes. Just a second. Okay, Natalie has a question. There you go. Yep.
So let's say there's a behavior where they're not overly exuberant and very excited, but it's bad behavior anyway. So like, let's say he picks up something and I wanted him to give it back to me. And I think that your suggestion of a leash is much better, because you're absolutely right. The game is for me to follow him. But if he gives me the whatever he has in his mouth, because right now, if I say give, he will give it. But like, do I still have to hold his collar? Like, if he's calm?
No,
Like,
but you do, no, but this is what I do. There's, again, I'm always going to say there's the management aspect and there's the training aspect. So you're going to make sure that he knows that you're not pleased, but at the same time, you wanted to give it up, right? So it's a no, thank you, and you can do it right after. Just put your hand close to his snap, or just so he's looking at you, or at least aware of you. So he hears a negative tone, and you can show him the item, and then put it away or put it. Now, the management part of that is make sure you've always got these things put away so he can't get them. If he doesn't practice getting these things, he's less likely for it to become an attention-getting mechanism, because we're not beating him up. If we were using shock collars, he'd never go get that thing again. But that's not how we train dogs. So we're not going to do that. But at the same time, we have to prevent them from doing that, getting that item, because it doesn't matter. We're not correcting them harshly enough. or enough for them to go, for it to be a deterrent, right? So he's gonna go, but she came and got it from me anyway, so I got her attention, right?
So,
So
but
we
he-
want to
it's
make
putting
sure that those things, what kind of things could he be getting that you can't put away?
well, I'll give you an example. He went into a shower, jumped like 5 foot high to get a razor, like to get,
Close the
and
bathroom door.
well, yeah, but then I have to like close everything. Like it's kind of crazy because you
Yeah, it
think,
is kind of crazy. You have a dog who's not trained. Think about puppy proofing your house.
okay,
Most dogs won't go to that extent. I had a dog once who ate soap,
okay.
bars of soap. Not funny. He thought it was hilarious. And I kept thinking, that's got to be the most disgusting thing in the world. No, he thought it was great. Now, I don't know if at the time, this was years ago, if it was nice tasting or smelling soap more than others, but what can I tell you? So what was I gonna do? Not use soap? I used soap in my shower. I'm sorry, my ledge is not that high. So what did I do? I closed the bathroom door. On the days that I didn't close the bathroom door, guess what he did? He taught me really well to keep the damn bathroom door closed. By the time he was 7 or 8 months old, there was no problem with soap anymore. He had stopped doing that. There's a woman who kept telling me, well, my dog keeps grabbing a kitchen towel and eating it. By the 3rd surgery, I told her she needed to give the dog up. I'm sorry, but if you can't keep your dog safe by putting your stuff away where, in this case, could kill him, you need to make sure that these things are out of reach. You have a toddler in your house who will go out of his way to get attention and to get what he wants, especially because we're not sitting there beating him up with a 2x4 when he makes a mistake. So how hard is it for him to go, so what if she catches me? I've had fun until she's got me. So you have to make it almost impossible for them to get it. The few times he does get it, you have to correct. That's not okay. And that's why you have a leash. So you reel him in, you go, no, that's not okay, out. And don't make it pleasant. Pleasant is if you're playing a retrieve game and he's bringing you back his ball or his toy. That's pleasant. You go pick something up that smells of me, honey, you're gonna be told in no uncertain terms, that's not yours. Especially if he's thinking of the roast beef on the counter. You know what I mean? So it has to start with things that are just fun, because eventually it's gonna go to things that are dangerous or cost you a lot of money, like your food. And that's not going to be pleasant. And yes, there's ways of setting up deterrents so that they, are less likely to get things, or you can set them up to fail, if you will, or to get caught. My favorite is, if you've got food on the counter, you can put spoons and forks around the edges. So if they jump up, the things fall to the floor, and it usually scares most dogs, and they stop jumping up on the counter. And you haven't done anything horrible, but you don't have to be in the room for them to get corrected. They get very good about that too. Oh, if she's not watching, I can get it. And then they've got your attention and they've had some fun, even if it's for 10 seconds until you've gotten to them. So that's your job, is managing the environment until they're old enough to know better what's theirs and what's not. Okay? Nobody's hands up? Cool. All right, on we go. Before we go further, I do want to talk about their food and their treats and what you're going to do to reward them. If you've been in puppy class, you know that I'm a big proponent of using food to train. That's to train behaviors you want, you're eliciting, you're asking them to do, not things you want them to stop doing. So any behavior you want to extinguish, you're not giving cookies. For jumping up and coming back down on the floor, you're going to pay a dog and he's going to jump up, even if he's told to come down. He's going, I'm a good dog. I jump, I get off, I get a cookie. If you don't want him to jump, you don't give him a cookie. Best way for jumping, by the way, is just walk into them until there's 4 on the floor. Then you can pet them or say fine and walk away. But do not reward after they've stopped doing something bad. All right. So food. Food is the main or most important form of reward. It's what keeps them alive. So they understand if you're in control of the food, you're in control of their lives. They don't think that way. They just know that. So one, please don't free feed your dog. In other words, don't put a bowl down and let them eat all day. That you've just lost all your most important control. Two, always make them do something, even if it's a small something when you give them food. Or let me rephrase, when you give them any reward, ask for a behavior you want. And it can be simple as sit, especially early on, but later on, sit becomes a default. So it's no longer work for you. They do it without thinking. So you have to ask them for things that they actually have to think about. Even if it's give a paw, roll over, spin, lie down, come here and sit. Anything that makes them have to go, oh, she wants this. And then feed them their supper or give them their cookie. Don't give them that for nothing. Start teaching them, you do something for me, I'll do something for you. But also, more importantly, is that food isn't the only reward. Food is the easiest to use. It's easy to find, it's very easy to mark, and they eat it and they know whatever they did will get them something yummy. But more importantly, you can use anything else they like as a reward. Walking, going for a walk, putting on the leash. You want to go for a walk? Sit and be calm. Somewhat calm. When I say a calm dog, doesn't mean he can't be happy and wiggling his little butt and going, I'm going for a walk. Just don't jump on me, rip my clothes, and scratch the front door. There's a big difference between, yay, I'm happy to go out, and I want to go out right now, and I need woof, 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 and then hurry up and get the damn. I'm sorry, if you're going to bully me, nothing happens.
He reacted
And
to
that includes supper or breakfast. So don't let the dog get to the point where you're not happy with what you're seeing. Stop what you're doing. If you're going for a leash, or you're going to make dinner, or you're going to open the back door for him to go outside, or you're about to throw a toy, if he's acting like an idiot, stop. Don't do it. Don't reward that. You're actually saying, you act like that, I'm going to give you what you want. Stop, wait. Hopefully calm happens in the next few seconds. And if it doesn't, put the leash back, close the door, take your hand off the handle, whatever you were going to do, put the food bowl back higher up on the counter and walk away for a few minutes. Sometimes it doesn't even take that. You just have, when I have a dog who starts, and a lot of them do this. So you start making a meal and start getting the bag out and you hear, and they start pacing and they get all upset. I hear a sound, that's banging your fork and knife on the table going, feed me. I'm sorry, you can't bully me or whine at me to make me go faster. So I stop, I put the bowl back, and I just stand there and wait. You can look at them or not look at them, do whatever you like. Most of the time they go, what the heck just happened? And they'll shut up. Just because they're like, what? Then you go back and get the food, put it back on the counter. And if the whining starts again, you go, oh, too bad. And you put it back and you go, uh-oh. Now the brain starts to go, wait a second. If I whine, I lose my food. And then you put it back, and until the whining starts, it can take 5 minutes to feed them, sometimes 10 minutes. One woman said it took me 15 minutes to get the dog fed the first time. But the second time, the minute I did it once, he never whined again. They are so smart, but if you say, shh, be quiet, you didn't get him to calm down. You just gave him a cue, and it's your responsibility to shut the dog up. Don't do that. They're so smart. Just stop doing it and actually back up from what you're doing. If you're going outside and you're reaching for the leash and the dog is losing his mind and screaming and yelling, if he's going in a circle and he's just happy, no worries. But if he's doing something you don't like, take your hand off the leash. I always change leashes, by the way. The leash for outside is different. If you have a backyard, I add a different leash that's at the back door. Because if it's gonna get dragged through the snow and the pee and whatever else is out there, I don't want it in my house. And I certainly don't want to hold it on a walk. So that is the dollar store leash that I leave at the back door. There's a separate leash for in the house and there's another one for the walk. So I can switch and the dog gets used to the ritual of waiting to have his leash put on for walk. I actually use a different collar and leash, which are attached to each other. So I just slip it over his head, take the other one off and slip it over his head when we're going for a walk, because that one has his tags. Whereas the one in the house, I don't need to hear clink, clink, clink. So he has a cheap dollar store collar if you want, or a separate collar for the one in the house. And that's just my preference. And it's a suggestion in case you're a nut like me and I don't want that wet leash dragging all over the house or in my hand for that matter. And I just wash it every little while when I'm fed up enough. So always remember, you can control the dog if you're willing to just stay calm and back up a step when you're doing something. It's a much calmer way to train, and it builds intelligence in your dog. It gives them the use of their own imagination and their own brain instead of they're not in the army. You don't have to be in control of their every move. They should know how to behave once they're adult dogs. And if the doorbell rings, their option should be, oh, and I just point to my dog's bed on the landing and he goes upstairs and he lies there. And I go answer the door. And if it's a friend he can say hi to, I say, okay, come say hi. And he comes down. Is he happy up there? Perfectly. Would he prefer to be downstairs jumping on the pizza guy? Probably. Am I going to let him? Definitely not. So while he's training for that, he has a leash on. So that if he does come downstairs, I can step on it and say, I'm sorry, what did I just say? And while I'm paying the pizza man or whatever, I'm hanging on to him. And then you're going to spend a couple of minutes up on that mat. And no, you can't move. And you're going to learn that that's a safe space for you, because I don't want a cat to walk by and for him to go past the pizza guy and I lose my dog, right? So he doesn't get to enter the entrance of my house, the doorway entrance, without my permission. You only go through there if we're going out or if I give you permission to come in here. This is where people take their coats off and their boots off. I don't want anybody getting mauled by my dog, even if it's a friendly mauling. I just don't like that. And especially in the winter and they've got stuff to do, and I'd rather say hi to them. And again, even if it's my husband right now, only because nobody else is coming over, I still need a little bit of calm. And then, yeah, you can say hi to dad, but hello, or I came in, I have groceries. Yes, hi, honey, but just wait a second. Let me give the groceries over to dad and do this or whatever I came in with and get my coat off. Hi, baby, come say hi to mom. Of course I want to say hi to my dog, but I don't have to. He's not the end all and be all. I am. I need to be safe and my dog needs to have manners. So start with yourself. You can right now. You've got you there. You may not have too many other people coming, but you can always just use yourself as trainers, right? Questions? No? See, leashes and collars, great things. A lot of things just answer themselves. Yes, this is Selena.
What
Can't hear?
about barking at basically any noise or basically anything?
Okay, the noises are outside?
Yeah, the noises are outside usually. So birds chirping, a snowplow, someone going by snowshoeing, just everything.
Right. So if you have a leash and collar on, you're going to have to physically get up, go get the dog's leash, call the dog's name, and back up, right? So puppy, here. Good. Bring him away from the window, the door, the sound. So preferably either into another room or at least far away enough, 12 to 15 feet away from where he is, so he's not as stimulated. You want to get him away from the spot where he was stimulated with the noise or whatever, or the visual if it's a window, and get him away from there. Get him to be calm. You can put your hand in the collar if you want, but I just calm him down. Now, if it's something that sounds like he's doing it for every little thing, so I would not reward that. If he's barking a couple times a day because the doorbell rings or somebody's walked by the window and that's happening occasionally, I don't have a problem with my dog barking, by the way. I just need him to shut up when I tell him to. And when he learns to be quiet when you say that's enough, thank you, then he's gonna bark less. Okay, because now you're in control and you've told him, thank you for letting me know, now be quiet. He's not barking for himself anymore. You've actually taught him he's barking for you. So you've pulled him away. Thank you, that'll do. He can sit or not sit, it's up to you as long as he calms down. If you want, when it's occasionally because people have walked up to your door or the garbage people have gone by, see if it's a dog that does it 2 or 3 times a day, or even a few more, I will actually call them away, give them a reward. Let's go in the kitchen, give him a cookie, wait until he relaxes. Normally the offense has passed by your house, and then you can let him go. And what they learn is woof, 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 and they come and find you because you've been rewarding them. And then over the course of a week or 2, that has escalated to, you got a cookie once every 2nd or 3rd time. Now you're not getting a cookie, you're getting a little scratch on the head. Thanks for letting me know, honey. Off you go. So my dog barks when there's somebody on our front lawn. Thank you very much. I happen to appreciate that. Does he shut up when I tell him? You darn right he does, because he's been trained that he's doing it for me. I've rewarded him. If he's barking for what I call ghosts, because you can't hear it, but he hears everything, I won't be cookieing that. I'll cookie the things that I think are important. I hear the garbage truck. Thank you, that'll do. But if I didn't hear anything, it's a bird in a tree. Oh, be quiet. Shut the heck up, please. And that they learn very quickly. You're not getting rewarded for that. And what happens is that diminishes that barking, but the alert barking is still going to happen. It's just going to shut up. And when you're not home, for most dogs, it stops happening. Unless they're real garters. German Shepherds will bark no matter what. But they will stop because you're not there. Some of them will bark no matter what until the offense is gone. But if they're trained to come to you, they'll go around looking for you. Oh yeah, she's not home. The offense is gone, they've stopped. So it always controls the barking to a certain extent. If anybody has an issue because their dogs bark at all, I always say one thing, go get yourself a stuffed animal. I'm sorry, dogs bark. The goal is not to stop the dog from barking. The goal is to to stop the dog from barking completely. The goal is for them to be quiet after. You can bark, you can tell me their doorbell just rang, but when I say thank you, that'll do, it needs to be that'll do. And if it's not, reel them in. Hey, what did I just say? Thank you, calm down, let them go. But that'll only happen once you've trained for a little while. Okay, and usually it depends. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. If it happens 15 times a day, it's going to go really fast. But if it happens once every 3 days, obviously it's going to take longer to train because you're not getting the practice in, right? So I always say it takes a couple of weeks, but if it hardly ever happens, the training is going to take way longer, right? If you don't get to practice. All right.
I get to practice a lot. Okay, thank you.
You're going to practice a lot from what you've said. Yes, I can see that.
Okay, thank you.
So one of the things that we want to show you before we get going, and we've still got some time, but I do want to make sure we get this in, is your homework, which is going to be the watch game. So Karen is waking Vegas up. If you hear her in the background, that's her getting him awake because he was comatose. So she's going to show you the watch game. Now, I'll give you a little pre-explanation, and then I'll turn my voice off and switch her over to you, because while she's doing this, she won't be doing too much talking with Vegas. It's a quiet game. We're great fans of let the dog figure it out. They learn using their brains, not with us being military and giving them cues for everything. That way, they actually get a more involved part of learning how to be good dogs. So this is the watch game, and it's very good as a basic look up to me and look up at me means look up to me as a leader, right? So we're sort of playing with that concept, but we want them to defer to you whenever they have an issue, a problem, an overexcitement, a fear. We want them to start going, what do I do now? Instead of being in their own heads and deciding to protect themselves or defend themselves or play with the dog they see, whatever. So this watch game, it takes you're going to need 15 cookies. So small. It's 5 cookies at a time, all in your hand. I say this all the time, and there's always a person or two who leaves them in the pocket and takes one out at a time. It's going to ruin the game. It's not going to get the same reaction from the dog. Remember, 5 cookies in your hand, you're going to put 1 in your fingers at a time, but the rest are going to be in the palm of your hand. You're going to show it to the dog, bring it up to right beside your eye. If you're wearing glasses, right beside your glasses. And as soon as you get eye contact, immediately you're going to say yes and feed the dog. So yes is the marker. It's a little bit like if you're using clicker training, it's the click. But I'm not going to put a clicker in your hands. It's way too complicated and too involved. So you're just going to say yes, feed the dog. Immediately as you feed, you've got more cookies. You're going to show him the second cookie, bring it up right beside your eye. Second he looks at you, you're going to feed him. Even if he's still looking at you, just keep doing this. After 5 cookies, you're going to release. By release, I mean it's the end of the exercise. You're just going to say, okay, or free, or break, something to tell him he's done. You can rough him up, tell him he's a good boy. You're going to get another 5 cookies, do it again right away. And this time you're going to spread the time. You're going to lengthen the time he has to watch before you say yes and feed the cookie. So it'll be 1, 2, yes, feed. So it'll be 2 seconds, maybe work it up to 3 seconds by the 5th cookie. And then for the 3rd bunch of cookies, you'll be maybe going 4 seconds. Maybe not, maybe you'll still be at 2 or 3. You'll go at the speed you feel you're comfortable with and the dog is comfortable with. Don't go too fast. That's when you'll see a dog start sniffing the ground, not interested, distracted by the least little thing because you haven't engaged him enough. So you need to do it quickly, lots of cookies. So it's like, free cookies, what the heck? Why should he leave? At the beginning, that's all that it is. He won't even know what he's doing. And then he's going to start going, oh, I have to keep looking. If he's not looking and breaks away, I'll tell you what to do after. I don't want to do too much explanation. I want you to watch Karen. And she's going to do it now. So we're going to switch over. Remember, it's Lara. You want to double tap or pin her in the middle. And I am going to mute myself so that you can hear Karen doing this. So it's Lara is the square you want to tap on and Karen is who you're watching. Go.
Yep. 5 cookies. Shows up on the cookies. Yes. Oops. That one popped out of my fingers. Ignore that. I'm going to grab another cookie and we'll do that again. Are we good?
Yep.
Yes. 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 Good job. Yay! Come here. No, I'll stay right here because I can have cookies. Yep. That's good job. All right, I think this way. There we go. So now I'm going to extend a little bit, please. Extend. Extend it a little bit.
Yes.
So still, again, 5 cookies. Yes. 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 Good job. Yay!
Okay, you want to speak to them about if it looks away? Sorry? If it looks away?
If he looks away, yeah.
Yeah, if he looks away or looks away, what their options are.
Yeah, so obviously Vegas has done this for a long time, so he is not going to be distracted. Your dog may hear a noise, look away, not understand the game initially. What you can do is just wait him out. Stand there, don't say a word, no, hey, psst, psst, I'm over here, look at me, just wait them out. At one point, they will sort of look up again and go, oh, right, yes, feed, all right? If it gets to an extended period of time, and you're starting to feel like a bit of a silly person standing there with a cookie next to your nose, you can just simply go, oh, well, you could have had the cookie and you didn't, so I'm gonna go over here, come back and go, how about we try that again? And get their attention back in. Needs to be done on leash so that they don't completely leave the vicinity, keep them within the area with you. No asking them to sit or lay down or do anything else. It's not a big deal. Hey, we're doing the watch game now. It's just get them close to you, get the cookies, show it at the nose and up beside your face. That's it. Good?
Sounds good to me.
All
Okay.
right. Come on, buddy.
Okay, you go back to
Right,
Lisa's
I'm gonna
screen.
put my voice back on. Hello. Okay, everybody, it's back to me. Oh, I put myself, here we go. All right. The other thing about this is loose leash, of course. You're gonna hear once you get in class probably more than anything, loose leash. Loose leash, loose leash, loose leash. Yes, dogs pull. One of the reasons they pull is we keep pulling them back. But they always want to go somewhere else. They're not trained. They want to go wherever they want to go. If they're pulling, bring them back, loosen the leash. Always think about it as a smiling leash. Okay, dogs know the difference. They're very sensitive here. We want to get them to the point where the slightest little tug in that direction makes them go that way. If they're always on a tight leash, they won't know that. They become insensitive to that and they just pull. So yes, we haven't taught them not to pull yet, but when you have a choice, bring them back, loosen the leash. Bring them back, even give them a little tug. If they stop moving, loosen the leash. They will eventually go, oh, if I just sit there, maybe she'll leave me alone. Yeah, that would be a good choice. The other thing I wanted to note, especially about this exercise, is it doesn't matter if they're sitting. Do not ask them to sit or lie down or stay. Don't do it. This is not about a stay exercise. This is about watching the looking. So I don't care if they're lying down or standing or sitting or change positions during that time. When they look at you, it's yes and feed. The only time you will stop and do a sort of correction is if they try to jump at the cookie, God forbid. They shouldn't, it's at your face. Or if they bark at you. In that case, if they do something you don't want, because you don't want to say yes as they bark and watch, they'll think, oh, she wants me to look and bark. That's how smart they are, and that's what they'll learn. So don't be very careful. They're just looking. Don't put any emphasis on anything else. Like I said, even if they are standing, all we care about is that you're looking, because the next time they might be sitting or even lying down. So if they do something inappropriate, like barking, you're going to go up or no, and turn your face away and put the cookie up, or hide it behind your back unless they go back there. That means you just lost the opportunity to get a cookie. Wait a second, they'll stop barking, do it again. If they do it more than 2 or 3 times, which is unlikely because you're giving them a cookie really quickly when they look, then just stop the game. Take a break, come back and try later. All right? Is that good for everybody?
Yes.
By the way, you're going to get a handout with all the steps. Okay, so hope you didn't take notes. I know I saw the other day somebody was writing notes feverishly and I said, you can stop. You're going to get it all step by step in a handout, which is easier because you're going to have forgotten some of the steps. You're going to have forgotten, oh, I forgot I was supposed to put all 5 cookies in my hand or whatever. It's very clearly marked. And yes, even if your dog tends to never leave your side, get them used to doing it with a leash. You know why? When you get in here, whenever that is, you're going to need to do it on leash. And if they're not used to having a leash on when they're playing this game, They'll actually think it's a completely different game, and they'll go, what, why is there something on my neck when it was never at home? Hold the leash so they feel it. They feel it. Trust me. They know the difference. It's like doing a stay. You're practicing sit stays at home and people go, well, my dog doesn't move, so I'm doing it off leash. Right. Or I'm dropping the leash on the floor because he's fine. Right. So then you come in here, there's 7 other dogs and people in the room, and you're holding the leash and he's going, I can't possibly, I'm going to come to you every time. Because that's not what you did at home. Dogs are very, very context specific. Most of them will have an issue if you didn't put a leash on and work at home the way you're going to work here or the way you would like it to happen. Yeah, it's also better because if they decide to get up and leave, they really can't. You can go, hey, get back here. We were doing something. You're with me right now. But most dogs will stay with you if you have a leash in your hand, so you don't have to worry. The more important thing is you're going to be joining a class, so they need to be used to that. And used to each exercise the way it's taught in class is very important. Yes, can you move to off leash later? Absolutely. But right now, start with a leash so they're really comfortable when they come in class and don't feel like, why do I feel this on me? And some of them are super sensitive and they'll just, I have to lie down. There's a leash and collar on me. So don't mess with their heads. Just make it consistent. It's just easier for them. They'll learn really fast. Once they've learned, you can mess around with all kinds of stuff. It's just the part where they're just learning it for the first a few weeks and getting really comfortable in the situation in class and at home. We want to make it as easy and as problem-free as we can. All right. So any more questions? I think that's it. I think I've touched about just, I think I will send you to, however, the Leave It cue. Okay, so because Leave It is very, very important. Some of you have started learning it in puppy, but you'll have the whole sequence going even further than what we did in puppy class. So they'll learn to leave things that aren't there on walks, in your house, when you drop something on the floor, and it'll get to the point where you won't need to say leave it. They'll just go, can I have that? Nope, let's go. Thank you for leaving it, because it'll become a habit and it doesn't take long. They get leave it really, really fast. Like I said, dogs are super smart. And this is an easy one to learn because we actually do reward them with food for leaving things, even if it's the same food on the floor. You don't touch that, I'll give you this one. Or I'll give you the one that's on the floor if you don't touch the one that's on the floor. So either way works really well. You'll see in the handout as well. It's not hard to do and it's a fun game. And that's the point. If we can make these learning experiences that will be really great control for your dog, for you, and safety, we make them fun. They learn it very, very fast because it's fun. So they don't have the challenge. All right. If there's nothing else, I think I'm gonna let you all go and enjoy the rest of your lovely day. Oh, Sharon has a question. Go ahead, Sharon.
Thank you. What kind of cola would you recommend us to purchase before the class?
What kind of what?
Cola and
Collar.
collar.
All right. There are several kinds that are good. You can purchase any flat collar. By flat, I mean anything that doesn't choke. So a buckle collar. They used to make leather collars that actually had a real buckle. The clasp ones, the nylon ones, all of those are okay. What I would recommend is you don't buy those for the class or for walking outside from the dollar store, because those are not good quality enough to keep them safe. If they really pull hard, they tend to break, especially the clasps are not really great quality. So buy a good quality one from a good pet supply. So we sell them here, by the way. The other kind that I really like, which is my favorite, is called a martingale collar. Some trainers call them half chokes or training collars, but they are flat collars with a little chain attached. And so it's loose when they're not pulling, but when they pull, it closes. But it only closes as big as their neck. So they're not choking. It's just the size of their neck. And here it is. Karen's given me one. They have them in all sizes. This is obviously for Vegas, so it's very large, but You can get them in extra small and medium and very large. And what it is this is the size of Vegas's neck. But when it's on him, this is a little heavier. So the chain tends to be under his neck or under his chin, if you will. And it's loose, right? It doesn't do any pulling. But when he does pull, it closes, or if he gets to the end of it, it closes, so he can't get it out. It's really great for those dogs that get super excited around moving things, or they get scared. Oh my God, there's a garbage truck, I have to run the other way. And when they're scared, they actually learn how to back out of their collars. And those are the dogs that we really worry about. And that's why we started with these. But these are great because they never get loose. And if they do, you can always, tighten them a little bit, but they don't get loose enough for them to come off. The flat collars that are flat all the way around eventually we have to put them a little loose. So the dogs tend to be able to pull their heads and ears out of them. And that always concerns me because I'm always focused on safety. Safety of people too, but safety for the dog. I don't want you to lose your dog. It's horrible. And it really is freakish. It's happened to me, not on the street, but it's happened to me in my backyard. Some guy left my back door open in my yard and my dog got loose, but not on the collar. Right? So if you have a collar that you feel very safe about, this is my favorite. But any other collar and or leash, by the way, that's comfortable in your hand and that you want to use as long as it doesn't choke the dog, I'm fine with that.
Great. Thank you, Lise.
You're very welcome. Anything else? Yes, Michelle.
I just wanted to ask you, my dog is about 7.5 months now and she's not spayed yet. Is that a problem for the rookie class? Because my vet recommends at a year and I just wasn't sure.
Louise sent me your email. I think it was you that sent it, right? Okay. So if you want to know my opinion about spaying and neutering, so this is the thing. I mentioned earlier for a dog this morning, I think it was, that was humping and getting erections and going crazy at 6 months old. I said, call your vet, the sooner the better. This is not a dominance thing. This is an arousal thing. And my experience shows me this is a problem. For the females, which is a spay, I personally do not like going through seasons. I do not like going through a heat. So I will have my dog spayed if possible before the heat. That's a personal thing. Do I think it's better for them to be older before they're spayed? Yes. I don't usually have female dogs. My preference is to have male dogs. That's just me. I can go into that conversation, but it's not important. What's important to remember is there are vets who are on both sides of the fence about the benefits of spaying before and or after the heat. Some say it's better to not do it until after they've had their first heat, because it's better for cancers later on and all that kind of stuff, mammary cancers and that they do go through. Others are on the opposite side. The studies are still inconclusive. So you have to do your own research. Me, for females, I've only ever had one female dog in my life, and she was spayed before her first heat, mostly because she had another medical issue. But I know too many people with females that have gone into heat, and it's just like, oh my God, you want to hear the dogs howling outside your house wanting to get to your female? Oh my good Lord.
Well, I just noticed, like, the minute now we go take her outside, I feel like her level of energy has gotten, because we usually walk as a little pack. We have another dog and we're helping out a senior in the area with her dog. So we're walking as a group, and I find she just is like,
yeah, she's a tornado. She's an absolute tornado
when she sees these other dogs.
Right.
I mean, one of them is a male and he is neutered, but I don't know if it's still hormonal or what. So I worry now, is it a behavior thing that I want to make sure that when we come to training classes, is she going to be a little brat because her hormones are all crazy and
she needs to be spayed? Yes, it will calm her down somewhat. Not the same as for a male, but it does do the same thing. It does calm them down, because females who aren't spayed have more energy and way more dominant and much more controlling than females who are. because
Oh, I see that.
they don't have those hormones flowing through them going, I have to protect my litter, I have to be in charge of my pack, I have to, so it calms them down. And the same happens to males, but for a different reason. They don't have to protect as much. They don't need to find a female to procreate with. So their brain isn't always flooded with hormones that are telling them, find a female in heat, find a female in heat. Some
Okay.
dogs never, it doesn't even concern them. They're just not interested. Other dogs are wholly consumed by that. And there's a whole gamut in between. So for males, for me, I don't have to neuter my males because I can control them. I wouldn't dare put them in a dog park. I wouldn't dare put them in mixed company because I don't know if a female is spayed or not. So I'm very careful who my male is with because believe it or not, once they're in the female, you can't get them out until they've ejaculated. So, and somebody once said to me, but it's okay. I had the male come and he's not fixed and she's not fixed, but she wasn't in heat. And I went, I'm sorry, do we have to be on our period for us to get pregnant?
Yeah.
Do you really think, do you not know how genetics work? Do you really? And sure enough, he called me the next week and said, oops, I think she might be pregnant.
Yeah.
And yes, she had mixed breed puppies and it wasn't funny, and then he had to find homes for 9 puppies.
Yeah.
That's not to mention whelp 9 puppies and feed them and keep them and socialize them and do all the stuff that is very hard to do if you're a good breeder. And he wasn't, so it was pretty much a nightmare. But that's not something I'm concerned about for me because I'm super careful. The other thing though, is that if you have a male or a female, the thing that happens when they get past 6 months and on to about a year and 2 months, so they usually say about 14 months, it's a give or take time, is that the growth plates close on their bodies, okay? So that's their bones, their joints. And studies have shown that they tend, for most breeds and most dogs, they tend to be a little stronger built, a little safer with their bones if we let them get older and they still have those hormones coursing through there, because it helps build bone. It helps build muscle and bone. And they tend, and again, most studies are showing that as a positive, but that's not the same as the cancer aspect. So that's a whole different thing. And there's so many studies still to be done. And you have to do them with the same dogs in the litter and different litters and different breeds. So it's a big job to get the right information. And it depends on you, your common sense. Are you going to let your dogs play with other dogs and dogs that you don't know, dogs you're not sure are fixed? Do you want to take that chance? I wouldn't. That is the one thing. I would not. If your dog is going to be out and about and you're actually going to let them interact with other dogs and play, be really, really careful. They don't have to have gone through a heat to get pregnant. They can get pregnant before. They could be actually able to get pregnant just before they go into what you see is the heat. All right. So she could be getting very friendly right now for that reason, because woohoo, I'm looking for a boy to match up with, Michelle. So,
and what would be a sign that we would see that she's getting to be close to that? Like I've never, this is the first time.
Normally, if they're playing with boys, they turn around real fast and offer them their behinds.
Oh, okay.
Look what I've got here. Are you interested? And they literally go, whoa, hi.
Okay.
None of her friends are interested, so we're okay.
Ready to accept them, they'll literally almost tear their face off. If a male comes and sniffs them, they'll go, I'm not ready for you. So yeah, little bitches, we come by the name, honestly. So you want to be careful you're making a decision for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Males are easier to decide in the sense that you don't have to worry about the heat.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you have any behavioral issues where the male is becoming a problem, dominant or humping too much or that kind of thing, you might want to forego waiting as long as 14 months and do it sooner. Some vets will refuse to do it before 14 months. So
and for us, it's less of an issue of the whole pregnancy and that, because we're very controlled at like who the dog interacts with.
exactly.
Right?
That's
But
what I think that most of my students are. You guys, considered, you wouldn't have come to a class, but nonetheless, I have to say what I have to say because accidents do happen.
Yeah, for sure. And for us, it's more about the energy level because we have a male dog who's been fixed and he's a little more relaxed, but the energy level difference between the two of them is and these are not our first dogs. We've had many dogs over the last 20 years, right? But we've never seen this like disparity of energy, right? Our male dog is literally, I'm sure in his head is going, what the hell did you bring into this house? Because she's just like, and she'll do things like jump off the couch, fly through the air and land right on top of him. And that's like fun for her, right? And she'll just go until she falls asleep. And we're like, I don't know, maybe we need to get her kind of fixed at this point. So it's.
My answer is if she were mine, she'd have been fixed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We're kind of there already, but as you said, we're doing our research. We're trying to
fix
figure it out.
today. I'll pick her up tomorrow. I'm happy. And if the vet looks at you and goes, well, I think you should wait. I'll go, either you fix her or I go to another vet. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She's mine. I will make that decision. Any vet makes you feel bad about anything you've decided for your dog,
Okay.
you walk away.
No, it's information gathering, right?
Vets who say, I'm sorry, I can't do it till then. Or you need to be feeding this, or, whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry, I raised 3 kids. They're all healthy. And I think I can handle a dog. I'll do my research. And if you don't agree with me, tell me why. Most vets will sit there and be very respectful and go, well, this is what I do. And my particular vet, when it came to this dog, I said, look, normally I keep my males intact. Do you have a stand on that? He goes, to be honest, whatever makes you more comfortable. There's both sides of the equation that say he could get more testicular or different cancers if he's intact. He can get cancers if he's not intact. I mean, honestly, my dog is fed the best possible diet on the planet. He eats raw. All my dogs have for the last 25 years. He's in excellent shape. All my dogs are. I give them minimal vaccines, all the vaccines when they're puppies, but I'm very careful and they get tested to make sure they have all their immunity is fine. But I take very good care of my dogs. So I know a lot, I read a lot, and I have a lot of experience. So I don't expect vets to talk down to me. I want information. If there's new information, please give it to me. If it'll help me make a different decision, I'm all for it. But don't just black and white me. This is what I do and that's it, because I will go see somebody else. So I always try to empower my students and any friends who ask me, that's my experience. Do your research, figure it out, and then come to your own conclusion. But ask your vet, if you trust your vet and so far he's not led you down the wrong path, there's nothing wrong with going with what he says, unless there's an issue. Like in the case of you, Michelle and John, I would spay her.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm feeling. I'm feeling her energy.
You make that decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, if she's completely over the top a handful and you are dog savvy people,
yeah,
that's information that needs to be taken into consideration, and I would spay her.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yes, I talk a lot. I'm really sorry, everybody, but I like to give a lot of information. Yes, Irene.
I have the same issue. My dog is 8 months old. She's a standard poodle. I got her from pristine standard poodle.
Oh my God, Judy. I love Judy.
Yeah, I love Judy, but when I signed the contract with Judy, she did not recommend I spayed her before at least a year. She's real. I mean, that's what I had to sign. And so now I'm getting concerned, she hasn't gone into heat and I don't know what age they do. I've never had a standard
within the
poodle.
first year. Usually
She's 8 months old.
They'll probably go in. Usually it's very soon now. And if she goes into heat, you have to normally wait a good month to 6 weeks after. So all her organs go back to normal because they don't expand. What is it? Well, they do, but it's not that. Whatever, they get engulfed and it takes them a while to get back down. So they have to wait because it's not safe. If she bleeds or whatever, she'll bleed inordinately. And that's one of the reasons they have to wait past the first heat, well past. But you'll have to speak to Judy if you want to abide by her.
Oh yeah, she's very strict about that.
Yes.
discussed it with her.
She's a great breeder, and I agree. If they were, first of all, if I was a breeder, I wouldn't let any of my puppies go. So, you guys would be out of luck. You wouldn't get dogs from me just because I can't. I'd say I would let them go, and then you'd come over and I go, no, I can't, sorry.
No, I'd be the same, I get it.
I can't do it. I don't have that kind of relationship with my dogs that I can let them go. So, but that's just me. That's why people have always asked me, you would be a great breeder. First of all, no, because I'm OCD. I'd have to be the best breeder, so no. And I wouldn't be able to let them go. That being said, I'm very careful because I have a lot of experience that when I buy a dog, that's given over to me. But because of my experience, most breeders will let me do whatever the heck I want. And if there's a physical reason, or there's a behavioral reason, most breeders will go, okay, I get it. The male is out of control and starting fights or being attacked, because it can go either way. Then we're gonna have to fix him because there's a problem. Females, a lot of people tend to not feel the same way about the fact that females will calm down after a spay, but it is actually a fact. So I would just have another conversation with Judy and go, I really need to have her fixed.
Because she does go to the dog park. Now I'm nervous.
Oh God.
I shouldn't bring her to the dog park.
You tell Judy that?
Judy doesn't, no, Judy prefers I don't go to dog parks at all.
No, you think? She's got an intact female. She doesn't want you to get her pregnant with God knows what.
Yeah, no, okay, no go to the dog park.
Oh, right. She could be getting, you take her tomorrow, she could get pregnant. Oh God, don't do it. Yeah, that's a bad one. I don't usually do that panic thing, but oh my God, my heart just went, oh, don't do that. You really don't want to be pregnant with God knows what.
Okay.
Not to mention how much freaked out she will be when a dog gets into her.
Okay.
This is not funny. Like literally not a good idea to watch, and it's really hard. And even if he wants to let go, they can't until he's no longer engorged. It's not a nice sight. It's very hard to watch.
Okay.
And that's why when breeders do it, well, now sometimes they inseminate, so it's not the same, but when they used to it was just the two dogs, they were watched very carefully, they were controlled, and you make sure everything's okay, and they're in a small enclosure so nobody can hurt each other or themselves against whatever. You just don't let nature take its course. It's damaging.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I won't tell Judy I took her to the dog park.
Okay, even better. All right. All right. So that's it for me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I can't wait to see you in person. I will let you know as soon as we're able. And hopefully that will be in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Did I talk about privates? I did this morning. I don't know if I did this afternoon. Okay, I keep forgetting what I tell Tutu. So yes, we're available. If you have some issues that you'd rather work one-on-one, we're available again for Zoom privates or for in-person at the center. All right, so if you want to do that, just contact Louise by phone or email, and she will give you the information if you don't have it. And as I did say before, we do have supplies here. And cookies, treats anyway, are very good treats to sell. If you need something, again, Louise would be more than happy to meet you here and help you out. All right. So I bid you a very lovely rest of your day and weekend, and hopefully see each other in person very, very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.